Hey YouTube! Yeah, so I'm working through some of my guitars. I don't think I've actually done a video for this before. I've used it in videos before to demonstrate other stuff. But yeah, so one of the reasons I've looked this out is I nearly lost it. This guitar. Um, well, I didn't say I lost. I nearly I don't know if you're watching the saga that is my car blew up and I had to get a new one. And one of the guys I fixed guitars for offered me a Jag, like an X type, an X series, the one that's kind of like a Mondeo, like a Jag Estate. He was going to lend me it for a couple of weeks until I got a car, and it was like, and then he was going to sell it to me, and then he offered to swap it for this guitar, and it's I was sorely tempted to do it. I didn't want to. This is one of those ones that I don't want to get rid of because I've never seen another one. So this is an Ibanez Roadstar 2 series from 1986. 1986. So this is an RG530. It says so in the back. It's a sticker on the back of the headstock that says so. So in 1986, this was the first ever Ibanez RG. RG stands for Roadster guitar. As you'll know, what an RG looks like now, it's like your Steve Vai Gem was the RG550, I think is the famous one. That came out in 87. So this was the first RG in 86, and then 87 they became the gem shape, what you now think of as an Ibanez RG, and they've stayed the same to this day, still the same guitar, whereas this one only lasted a couple of years. There is Steve Lukather, the guy from Toto. A couple of last week I did a review. I was fixing one of his modern signature guitars, a Music Man, an Ernie Ball Music Man, and but he's got one of these which looks very similar to this. It's the same shape. I think this might have a carved top. This one's a flat top. But so this is the Roadstar 2. I'm not really sure exactly, but this is a Roadstar 2. I think you get Roadsters, which are kind of a bit stratty and kind of get this sort of shape. But this is when they were sort of before the Super Strat existed. So this has 24 frets. So it's got a slightly deeper cutaway. There is other ones you can get from 85 which look very similar. But this also, if you look up at the top here, this is the first Ibanez ever had a Floyd Rose, like a licensed Floyd Rose. So this has got an Edge 1 trim. It's downbend only. It sits flush on the body, so it only goes down the way. They hadn't yet developed it so you could pull it up the way. That was a Steve Vai thing. But the way you can, apparently the Floyd Rose patents were for the nut with the clamps built into it, which you see all the time now. But if you look at any older, especially Ibanez or even guitars of that era, they didn't have the patent. They weren't allowed to copy this part, so they often have a clamp behind you. They've got a regular nut and then a clamp behind it. Whereas this has got what you see on modern guitars. These are very highly regarded bridges. What you can't see, although this kind of looks, as you can see, it's pearl. I don't know if you might not be able to see it's pearl finish, but it's pearl finish. But if I can get the angle right, I don't know. It's just the light's too bad in here. Get an angle there. No, you can't see it, but basically it's got it's actually green, and you can see the grain. It's got like a quilted maple top, and below the surface, which is not showing up. I'll try. I think I've actually got some photos of this that I took when I first got it. I'll put one of them as the profile pic, and you'll see that it's not actually black. So it's an RG530BP, and BP stands for Black Pearl. There is another one you can get which is the same as this, but it's a sort of reddish brown thing. It doesn't look as good. It's got a fantastic neck. Like it's just it's a super Strat, as in it's a pure amazing Strat. This is in dire need of new strings, and it also needs the frets polished, but because it's been sitting there for a couple of years not being used. But I wanted to do it this year. Yeah, so what have I not gone over yet? Binding on the top, Ibanez made in Ibanez smooth tuner. I want to say that says smooth tuner, but I can't actually read it. It's too small. What does it say? Yeah, it does say. It says Ibanez smooth tuner. Sorry. So I imagine they probably go. So it's got the cool Ibanez like this sort of triangular shaped strap buttons, which are nice from this sort of vintage era. It's not actually, it's a wee bit bashed in the back. I didn't realise it was. And it's got its own sort of EMG looking. It's not active, but there's, you know, the 86 was prime when people wanted their black EMG looking pickups. And it's got the 2 adjustment screws on it, which are nice. It's actually got Ibanez engraved in the bottom corner, but you can't see that. A volume for the neck, a volume for the bridge. They're both push for coil split, and a tone control, the 3-way switch. The 3-way switch had a rubber thing around the outside of it, but when I touched it and it disintegrated, so it doesn't have the rubber. It's like a rubber band around it, or a rubber ring. Yeah, so I'm almost finished talking about this. I can actually get on to playing it. So I've already mentioned that Steve Lukather had a guitar that was very similar to this, but better than that, Gary Moore played out in the fields, or out in the streets, out in the fields, on the solo on an RG530. If you watch the video for it, it's the one with him and Phil Lynott. They're standing on the Giant's Causeway and stuff. He flips through about 4 or 5 guitars, like in the video when he's superimposed in front of the Giant's Causeway and the streets and stuff. One of them is a jet black, all black, one of these. He's also got a 1985 one, which looks very similar, but it doesn't have a binding on the top. And it's got the old style, is it a Pro Rocker it's called, trim, before the Floyd Rose came in. But I have seen an interview where he's talking about doing solo on a 530, and the pickups he used were the original. So he basically used this guitar, well, not this colour, but this guitar stock. You know, this is the man who's got his the Peter Green Les Paul at the time. You know, and he was choosing to play his solos on this, probably because of the tremolo. I think actually he got a camera attached to the end of the fretboard for the solo. That bit is on one of these. So yes, so it's a sort of signature model, but it's not like, you know, nowadays when you can buy like an Eric Clapton signature Stratocaster, which is being made to be as close as they can possibly get it to his Stratocaster at thousands of pounds. This is off the same factory run as the one Gary Moore used, so it's ultimately pretty much, it's the same. It's not a copy, it's the same. It's got a nicer colour. The black one looks a bit shit. This is by far the nicest looking colour one of these I've seen. You see them sometimes, I think there's a black one with red on it, but black's just a bit boring. Yeah, so I'll get on with get the things I don't like about it. There's not very many. One is it's got a barrel jack socket, which I don't like, because partly because this one's noisy when you bash it. So and the thing is, you can't go inside and bend the wee lever and stuff to make it work like you can with a normal thing. But that's a bit shit. But I mean, I'll try and do something about that. And the other thing is the push-pull pots, the push-push pots. They are push-push, but you can't see whether they're on or off by looking at them. You know, the modern ones I've seen, it's like, you know, like in the back of a pen, you can pop it down and pop it up, and you can see looking at it whether it's down or up. On these, you have to press it to see what it is it's doing. Hopefully it's still in tune. Yeah. So this one. So that's a humbucker. Now it's single coil. That's a bridge. Neck. I do say that's likely to be. Think that's single coil or is it a humbucker? Now it's single coil. Both of them in single. That's me, I'm just using my wee Laney DC15. There's no pedals on just now. Through my, I remember it'd be quite a good noise. It's got a metal cover on it. My 3x12 Trace Elliott new Beast. So I wonder how long this would have lasted if there's that bloody annoying loose barrel socket thing. Oh, so annoying, so annoying. So I wonder how long this would have lasted if I hadn't invented the gem, or if it just used one of these. I've actually bought another. I bought a barrel socket for it years ago. It's still in my parts box. I keep seeing it, but it's kind of not black. It's silver, so it's not original. I don't know why I'm keeping this original. So obviously, it's like, you know, you wouldn't keep your original tyres on your vintage car, so it's a weird disposable bit. But really clean it really does. Sounds absolutely beautiful. But anyway, rat pedal. Bus pedal and bridge. the input jack! Ah! Still getting fixed. Just gonna replace it. Yeah, so that was a little bit hampered by that bloody this stupid input jack. Actually, just having a look at it there, I don't think it is actually the wrong colour. I think it's actually got a rubber seal. It's got a rubber bit on it, similar to what was on around the pickup selector. So I might just be able to swap that barrel jack over with what the new one I bought in my parts box, and it'll still look right. So I might actually just do that tonight. because that was really bloody annoying. I was just sitting there thinking, I'm going to totally take this into the studio with the band, and I think this is a. I remember someone telling my pal Jim telling me years ago that this was you should be playing this live. It's a performance guitar, and it is pretty special looking, really. As I said when I named that guitar there Nancy after Nancy Wilson from Heart, because that was her signature model, was very similar to that. This one also has a name. So there's only like 3 of my guitars that I've ever named, apart from Phil in the corner there, but he's got Phil, that's because it's made by Phil, so he's got a name as Phil. This one's called Lena, and that's because I bought it off a girl called Lena. It was just on eBay, this is a few years ago, and ended up buying it, sort of sneakily doing it outside eBay because she didn't want to pay the eBay fees, which was fine, it saved me money as well. And she was, I'm not sure what her second name was, Lena, and she's the bass player in My Dying Bride, which is a sort of doom metal band which I'd never really heard of. I looked them up. She's an absolutely stunning looking woman, she's like totally terrifying, you know, like sort of Morticia Adams type looking thing, playing a big massive bass. Looks like she could totally bench press you. But so that's who I got this off, so hence I named it after her. She had the picture of it was fantastic. The eBay listing, she had like her wallpaper was like black and white sort of gothic stuff, and it just had this in the room, so the whole room was black and white with this guitar in it, and it just looked absolutely stunning. And just as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, I've not seen that before. It just kind of reminds me of the Antigua finish. You often see like the Fender do it, which nobody likes, but I think are still pretty nice. But this one's a little bit classier, I think. It doesn't. The Antigua's a sort of white to sort of, I can't know what colour is it, sort of browny orangey colour, whereas this is a sort of dark green, grey. Even though it's called Black Pearl, it's clearly not black. It's clearly a green of some description. But yes, so it's a very nice guitar. I'm actually looking at an Ibanez Roadster just now on eBay. That looks quite nice, like a more stratty one than this. But I think that this is my Ibanez Roadster. I've not got a lot of Ibanez. Got a 5-string bass and I've got an Explorer. I've got the one that I drew around that to make. Which I'll need to look out. Let's be honest, I've not played that in about 5 years. It's signed by Dragon Force and Sabaton, both who have collaborated with my favourite band, Baby Metal. But unfortunately I didn't. I think I tried to varnish over the signatures, and some of the, I used 2 pens. There was a blue pen and a black pen, and one of them, as soon as I put the varnish on, it just totally dissolved the pen, and the other one's still there. So it's still, although it was signed by all of Dragon Force apart from the bass player, and all of Sabaton apart from the singer. The Ibanez do good guitars, especially this is right at the end of what I would term as the classic era of Japanese guitars. 86 is kind of just, because in 87 the RG existed, not the RG530, the RG as we know it, and every guitar looked like that up to this day. You don't get ones that look like this, but you just get RGs everywhere. So lovely guitar, rock and roll. I think the Steve Lukather one might have been an RG1000 or 1200 or something, so it was a much higher, bit higher spec than this one. But good enough for Gary Moore, good enough for me. Rock and roll, and I didn't even attempt to try and play. I seem to remember the reason I haven't done a video for this before is because I spent about 3 weeks trying to learn the solo for Out in the Fields, and it was too hard. I think I found a magazine with the tab in it, and I was sitting there just trying to nail it, and it was just like, it's not my thing to sit and learn tab out a book. I just can't do it. Rock and roll.